Hello everybody, Tetri here. Welcome to Creation Station. Today I'm going to be creating some assets to fill in a scene I've been working on. I've got plenty of assets that I still need to create, and this scene is still missing some things. There's not enough variations. Ever since Godot 4.7 came out, I've been trying to go through a lot of the code behind the scenes, not really posting any of it, but just clean things up. I've gotten better since I last kind of jumped into it. One of the things I notice when I do game development stuff, I hop around a bunch to keep from getting burnt out, and I'll crunch on something really hard, and then I'll take a break from it, and then when I come back, I tend to be just naturally better than I was before, and it could be like a couple months before I get back to it. And it just, for whatever reason, that seems to be the case for me. So don't feel bad if that's kind of how you're doing things as well. That's how it works for me. I do stuff for a little bit, and it just, I get to the point that I do everything that I can do. And once that happens, I just kind of take a break from it. Like I've been taking a break from my character I've been working on here, and I'll go back to it, and I'll end up fixing a bunch of stuff that I wasn't really capable of doing before, and that's just kind of how it goes for me. Just kind of testing some things out real quick. This is a new version. It's 5.1. Seems like everything's going to pretty much work out. I do need to correct some lighting right here in the bottom. It's not lit properly, but it is what it is. Just kind of seeing how this is going to work. Seems like it's going to work pretty nicely, so I don't really suspect we'll have a whole lot of weird bugs that I've never came across before. I have had this happen in the past, but I've been using Blender since I think version 2.6, 2.7 in there somewhere. I think was the first version I used. So I've got a little bit of experience with this. I've been using it for a little bit off and on. I think I started in I think I downloaded it in 2017, 2018, and that was the version that was out at the time. Oh, looks like we got a person in the chat. I actually know this person. I play Roblox with them. I'm gonna tell them hello real quick. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I hope everything's going well for you. I did hop on Roblox for a little bit earlier, but not real long. I cashed in because you get that free deal once every 24 hours. So I went and actually doubled my money. I got a couple million out of it and sold a bunch of stuff. Didn't really get anything in terms of seeds and grow a garden too, but I did hop in there for a little bit, but I was only in there for maybe an hour. I was mostly AFK, to be honest. I didn't want to make a live stream or anything, but I do plan on live streaming again, maybe tomorrow. But I'm working on some mushrooms. I got a couple ideas for some mushrooms. So that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video, is just kind of getting a couple ideas I got and getting them out there because I need to fill up my scene. I've had this scene for a while that I've been working on, and I'm just trying to get everything I would need for a wooded scene, and it just takes time, honestly. It just takes a little bit of time. There we go. Now I can go smooth it out a little bit, and that should... Oops, a little bit too far. We'll do that. Because nothing in real life's perfect, so... Wouldn't look right if it was perfectly mirrored. There we go. Now it's got a more natural look. See if I can't get it to go a little further down. Try to click right there in the middle. Heck yeah. Maybe just a tad more. And then we're going to go down here, and that's what it is. I got a couple of these out of alignment. I might have accidentally done that myself. I'm just not sure. I'm going to have to check in game and make sure. Actually, I could just open up the other file later on and check on it. I was wondering why the lighting was so weird right there. I thought I'd done all that. I never noticed it when I imported it. But yeah, there is definitely a couple things off. Could be worse, could be worse. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and jump over here and lower this part of it down. Try to even it out a little bit anyway. Lower that there. Just a little bit more. Unfortunately, they're not all in the same spot, so it's like not gonna look right if I try to move everything down at one time. And then there should be just this little section here. Move it further down. Move these down. Now I can go across here and move that. And then move this. Yeah, I must have done something that moved it. It might have been the grab tool. It might have grabbed through. I've had that happen a couple times where it just, for whatever reason, grabs way further down than what I intended, and it like grabs through stuff. Alright. We will fix the rest of that later. I've actually been working on a water effect, and I plan on doing something with that when it comes to this. Yeah, I'm making more mushrooms. I got small mushrooms, and like I've got a couple variations like that they come in terms of like just like the patterns and stuff. But the mushroom itself is exactly the same. And that's what I'm going to be changing here. I'm going to be making it to where this is a different mushroom than my other ones. I actually plan on making a couple different ones. There we go. Oop, must have had some. Yep, I did have something highlighted. That's what happened. I went to highlight it around it, and it jumped and highlighted something it shouldn't have. Easy fix. Easy fix. There we go. That'll be a lot better. Now I should be able to do what I'm wanting to do here. For anybody who hasn't done this, UVs are what tell it how to place the texture on the geometry. It will stretch and look really funky, and it may not even pop up right if you don't do it. But that's what this is for. It is actually to try to give it an idea of how to map this. So this grid over here represents how that is supposed to be laying down. Now, I'm not sure why it done that. That is weird. Because I could have swore the image I had for this definitely didn't do that. I wonder why it changed. Yeah, because it's definitely saying that's the whole... It unselected it somehow. Alright. I was like, what is going on? Because that should not be going on. I wonder if it's doing it because I have that one is the one. Yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't think it used to do that. I don't think it used to like jump around like that, but at least I know it does it now. So if it does it again, I know that it tried to switch things up on me. And I'm actually keeping the stem and everything on the same picture because having multiple materials for every mushroom, which is going to end up probably happening to a lot of them, does take up extra performance. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up a way that I can go in and use like Photoshop or GIMP, which I use GIMP, and I can just basically texture this stuff in, and then I won't have to worry about it. I can just kind of do it how I want to do it in there, because I definitely don't want to do a whole lot of texturing on here. Nothing against this. Oop, I got it on fill. Nothing against this, but it's not how I want to do it anyway. We'll just go ahead and fill this in. It ain't got to be perfect, just as long as I know where the texture needs to sit. That's the important part, being able to open it up in GIMP and know that roughly within that circle is where the head of the mushroom is. And this is how I did like my shoes and everything else. I just used the UVs and cut it up into pieces and placed it on over here like I just did this. And we'll just do base 2. And then open it up. Alright. We're going to switch this around real quick. Looks like everything's going to work there. Oh man, in terms of everything, yeah, I've probably spent literally over 1,000 hours doing what I'm doing right now. Probably over 1,000 hours, and that's probably pretty accurate too. I have definitely spent some time doing this, and it's just been all over the place. I do art stuff for a little bit, and then I'll jump off and do something else. I'll like go in and do a bunch of code. I just kind of like hop around. Make sure that didn't. Nope, didn't select anything else. But that's just how I do it. I hop around a bunch. In terms of how many total hours I have, like it's, I'm sure, a very, very large amount. Some of them people who live stream and they play like the same game for thousands of hours, I've probably got a very similar amount of time here, to be honest. That's probably the closest comparison I can give you, is that's probably the case. Is I've got thousands of hours. I can't say it for sure because I don't think a lot of my projects would, even if they kept count of hours, that it would be accurate, because I have backups. And like earlier today I was messing with something and I was just kind of experimenting, and I ended up just having to pull my backup project and just kind of start over. So as many times as I have to go get one of my backups and reload it, it's not going to be. That depends on the person. That depends on the person. There are a lot of people that would say coding is extremely hard, and I've got some friends who are on the opposite end of the spectrum and they think coding is extremely easy and they can't draw or make assets to save their life. It just doesn't make any sense to them. Uh, for me, I'm a natural born artist, so making the stuff is a lot easier for me. The coding end wasn't as hard for me as it is for some people, but I definitely don't claim to be good at it. Like, it's something that it's taken me a while. I did make a inventory system, not this year, but at the end of the year before, going into last year. And I mean, I'm talking like a full inventory system. So it has like a shop that you can buy and sell things. It's got different ways it treats certain items. Like I got it to where if you're collecting ingredients or something, that there is no limit to how many different ingredients you can hold, but the stack limit is 99. But for your normal items like your swords and shields and stuff, they don't stack because they're individually rolled, like the stats and stuff individually roll on them. So all that was completely done from scratch, and I don't hate the way that Diablo and a lot of them guys do the grid inventory, but I wanted a list inventory. So when I went about doing what I was doing, I did it in the form of a bunch of lists that you can go through instead of having your slots for a grid system. It's just my preference. I'll eventually have a grid system as well. I just chose not to do that for reasons that for this project would make more sense for me to do it that way. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do, yeah, I'm gonna take advantage of that. There we go. That's what I should have been doing from the start, to be honest. I see what it's doing. It's trying to calculate. And of course, I can undo that. And then pull it back a little bit. Push in over here. And kind of round it off. Because in real life, nothing is like, well, unless it's man made, nothing is perfectly round. That's what was going on earlier. Alright. So they didn't fix that. It's still grabbing through everything. That bugs me a little bit. I can't believe they didn't fix that in this version where it just by default doesn't grab through. Like that is something that I don't get. I know there's a way on here somewhere to keep it from doing it. It might be this. It's just, I don't really like how that works. Let's see. Yep, it didn't grab underneath of it. So that might be all it is that I needed to do. But yeah, just a huge pain. And it's still kind of drifting off. So what we're going to do is we're going to inflate it instead. Always inflate it and smooth it out. There we go. That's what I wanted. And then smooth out the top a little bit. Because definitely going to need more than one type of mushroom for this. Definitely going to need more than one. And we'll come back up, select that, and then come back over here, and of course I'll have to redo that because now that I changed the head, it changed the geometry. So what has to happen is I have to recalibrate the UVs, that way the image doesn't stretch when I place it on there, which is fine. I mean, it's not really a big deal. Pretty easy fix. Pretty easy fix. And then come back down here to the bottom. Oops, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Make sure there's nothing that's not supposed to be selected getting selected there. And then we're going to widen that out a little bit. There we go. And then just select the whole thing and pull it up a little bit. Much better. Much better. And I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the top of it. Yep, that's what it needed. So this will give me a couple variations. Just kind of show what I'm wanting to do here. So it's easier if I just open up Godot. But I got a wooded area here, and a lot of people who've watched my videos have seen me working in this environment lately. And there's just a lot of nature stuff that I need to make. So I've already got a couple mushrooms, and I will show those off. Actually, it would be easier if I just clicked on it. That way I can zoom in straight on it. But they got some basic designs. And they all glow in the dark. But I'll need to be making more flowers and stuff like that too. I'm just choosing mushrooms today because I figured it was something that I was more in the mood to make. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. The lighting in the world will do the shadows and stuff for me. But in terms of actually drawing, you seen me in my last video. I was doing the tree leaves. I did a tree leaf. I will have to open up GIMP and I will have to draw a basic design for the mushroom if I don't use something else. But yeah, if you remember me doing the leaf, I'll have to do something like that for this mushroom. If it's going to be a normal mushroom. If it's going to glow in the dark and have patterns like the other, then I will use some stuff in game. I'll use a shader and I will go in and probably make a design that way. But I could do either one. But yeah, it'll at least need something added to it. But in terms of the shadows and stuff, that'll just automatically happen when I put it in the engine. So now that we got this saved, I got two of them I just made real quick. We're going to open up the second one real quick because I need to actually export this real quick. That way I can put it in the engine. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, both those should be ready. I didn't have that pulled up on screen, so you didn't see what I just did, but I actually just went in and got the files ready so I can just export them in. I'm going to be able to export both these mushrooms into Godot really quick. So now that I'm back in engine myself, all I got to do is go to where my resources are over here on the side. Got my nature assets, my mushrooms are right there. So I can open up my folder and just place them in. There we go. And as you can see, even with no detail, the shadows and stuff are already placed on it. If I make a material, which I'll organize this stuff when I hop off later. Not really too worried about it right now. We'll just call it mushroom 2 for right now to keep it simple. And we don't need these to be the way they are, so we're going to do that. That way I can actually modify it easier. And I'm going to go ahead and put both these in here. And I'm going to show you how easy this is. Or actually, that's for to put that on there. The mushroom at least has a base color now. And then I'll have to create a second material real quick, so we'll do that. And we'll just call this Mushroom 3. And since it's oh, I don't want to do that. Redo the material. I want it to actually be the correct format, actually make it a material file. Something I didn't do a whole lot of when the engine was new, because there was so many problems that I was trying to learn an engine that wasn't ready to be learned. I hopped off Unity and hopped on this when it was like in alpha or beta 1, and it was definitely different than it is now. But as you can see, it's fairly easy to get materials and stuff started. It's got a at least base color to it, and even in the editor, the lighting is at least good enough that you can see that it's got shadows. I'm gonna save it real quick, and then I'll get my Xbox controller and I'll show you what it actually looks like with lighting on it. I did a, oh, it's not gonna pop up. I forgot about that. It did that the last time too. Yeah, I had to like unclick and click back in for it to work for whatever reason. So we'll go ahead and hop in game real quick, and then I'll show you what this looks like with lighting applied to it. And I'll show you the water I've been working on too. It's definitely not done, but it's at least, oh, it's not even gonna pop up. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Huh. I wonder. Because I just drug it over to it. If that's why it's acting that way. Because I don't know why it's acting that way at the second. It should definitely not be. But it's probably something they did when they changed the editor. There's still a bunch of stuff I haven't messed around with yet. We'll try this and see what that does. That's really weird that it didn't pop up. Normally it just pops up when I do it. I don't have to actually mess with anything. It just kind of works. One of the bugs I actually fixed when this came out, my mouse and controller support for whatever reason was buggy. I went in and fixed that. There it goes. Yeah, so apparently I have to actually tell it what it's going to be now. It doesn't just like automatically know. It's in a shadow, unfortunately, so it's not as visible as it should be. But as you can see, the other mushroom glows. Actually see what that looks like on my phone. Yeah, at least you guys are able to see it. Well, for today, I'll be doing the mushroom. Yeah, actually, it has a day and night time system. I haven't. Actually, I did show that off. I think I have a video showing that off from like a few months ago. Yeah, it does go day and night. But yeah, now I'll be able to use these different shape of mushrooms, and I'll be able to do stuff with them, which I'm gonna duplicate mushroom number 2 here. Pull it off to the side. And then let's add, yeah, let's add a mesh instance 3D to this. As for the shape, we'll just use a generic shape. We're just going to use a sphere for right now. And then I will just shrink it to where I want it. Probably keep it about that big. We'll just place that right there. And then I am going to try to load something up real quick. Actually, I'll have to make a material to do it. Or I could just drag the shader in, I guess. Do it that way. We'll just drag the shader in. So I'm just curious what it looks like. Oh, it put it down here. I need to put that in my shader folder. There we go. Now it looks like it's got this water bubble on it. We're going to save this material as mushroom bubble. Mushrooms in real life have some weird stuff like this that goes on. I kind of had the idea for this because of that. So I'm not really doing anything unique. I've not really seen this in game, but if you look up some weird exotic mushrooms, they really do have this stuff going on. Oh, to make the grass? To make the grass, it actually didn't take very long. Let me pull something up real quick because the grass is just literally a flat sheet of paper. It's not anything really impressive. Yeah, if you can see this on the side, it is just literally flat green strips with some detail that I'd put on them. But that is what you're seeing. It is basically flat cardboard pieces of grass sticking up. And I have a ground piece underneath of it that is basically clover and stuff like that. And from a little bit of a distance, it actually makes it seem like there's more stuff going on than what there is. Like from this angle right here, the clover and the grass and everything just kind of blends in really well together. It was just a technique that I seen another game use, so I figured I would try it myself. Back to the water bubble here. We're gonna go in and shader parameters. I was wondering why it wouldn't open. I was looking right at it. Yeah, I can actually change the color of this. And then we're going to add some noise to it just to kind of see what I can do here. This is where stuff's probably going to get, yeah, pretty crazy, because I can literally just kind of do what I want with it. This is the stuff I did to make the other mushrooms. I can go in and like make all kinds of like bizarre designs. We're gonna undo the normal here. Do 3D space. Make it seamless. There we go. Yeah, grass is actually pretty easy to make. Oh, I'm just making assets today. Like that's literally the name of the video is the topic. Probably keep that right there. Turn that down. There we go. And I can come back up here and mess with it a little bit more. We'll try this. And then I'll create another one here and another one here. And we'll just start stacking stuff. See what we can come up with. This is one of my favorite parts of game creation, is just like games like Minecraft would have been great if I would have been really young when that game came out. But it's kind of been ruined because I'm so spoiled with the tools and stuff that are available to make games. So for me to like go and play Minecraft, like it's not horrible. I have like nothing against Minecraft. It's actually a really really cool idea. Like whoever came up with it was a genius. They really did something cool when they made it, cuz I'd never seen anything like it before. But in terms of just the possibilities of it, the magic's kind of gone for me because of what I'm capable of doing on here. Sliders are a little touchy. Zoom up on it a little bit, that way you guys can see what I'm messing with. Leave that like that for right now. Just kind of see how everything's affecting it. So what I want to do for this, I actually want to open this up. Yeah, I want that like that. And then I want the ridges like that. Actually, we'll do that and that. Now let's see what it looks like when, alright, I see what's going on. I could add a panning effect to it and make the rest of this move around a lot better. That's probably something I'll code later. Yeah, I really wasn't sure how this was going to work because I'm using it for my other water. It just so happens that this is kind of convenient for testing this out. Yeah, and that's really what it is. I can just make more stuff in these editors. I don't have the same limitations. So like when I hop on, because I've played Minecraft a little bit. My brother was really big into it when he was younger, and I'd actually this was like 2013, 2012, and I'd made like a texture pack because they were just really starting to do like the texture pack thing for it. They didn't have like near the stuff they do now. And I played around with it. Like the idea for that game is really cool. It's just unfortunate that when it came out, I mean, I even back then I wasn't really like doing the stuff I'm doing now, but at the same time, I was basically capable of doing it. I was messing around with a RPG Maker, if you've ever heard of that, and that's got like a lot of bells and whistles as well. And I'd been messing with that for a long time at that point. So to just like hop on Minecraft, like I might dig a tunnel and make like a labyrinth or something underground and make it look like an underground castle. And it's like entertaining for a little bit. But compared to the stuff that I'm able to do on here, it just doesn't hold my attention. And it's actually sad. Like I wish that Minecraft did hold my attention because I'd imagine there's so many cool things on there that I'd be making, but it just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. It just was not meant to be. Yeah, that does not work out in my favor. There we go. Getting some of the other colors in there. Yeah, I want to create some really cool exotic stuff. Like I'm gonna have other trees as well that are just like weird, twisted, mangled up, alien looking trees that you wouldn't normally see. But I do have some good basic trees that are more earth like. So at least I got to start there. But yeah, I'll be able to add these weird droplets. I'm not sure what they are in real life, to be honest. I just know I've seen some mushrooms somewhere, probably like in Africa or something, that had them. And I was like, man, that is really cool. Yeah, I seen some people do some crazy stuff on Minecraft. There was some people like making big giant replicas, like they were changing the colors of the blocks, and they were making stuff that looked like Pokemon and Mario. Somebody made like a computer and was like playing Pokemon on it in Minecraft. I mean, they do some really neat stuff in Minecraft. Like I said, it's sad that it was just I was way before its time. No, at the moment I don't have any rain or anything. That's something I've been looking into. It's just I'm really picky and I want everything to work a certain way. So I haven't got it implemented yet. The fog would actually be pretty easy. The graphical settings within the engine has an option just for creating fog. So I could literally just make fog without even really trying. But rain and like having the lightning and stuff, that's more or less what I'm talking about. Doing that stuff, I've not really tried much of it because like I still got to get assets created and everything, and eventually when that time comes, hopefully I will have enough experience that even if the videos I'm watching don't cover everything I need, I will at least be able to figure it out. And that's what I did with like my inventory system. Uh, I just looked up enough videos that after a while I was able to kind of figure out what they were doing and just, put my own spin on it, which is the best way to learn. There's not a better way to learn than being able to really just kind of build off of what other people have done and put your own spin on it. Yeah, I'll be able to do some cool effects once I get everything figured out. We're just gonna keep that there for the second. But yeah, even my flowers are a little more three-dimensional than normal flowers. If I zoom up, you can kind of see what I did. Like even the dandelions are double layered. So when you look at them from like the side, they're not perfectly flat. They kind of bend a little bit downward just to create the effect from far away as you're coming up on it that you can still see them. But yeah, I'll be making more flowers and stuff too. I made another leaf. I'd actually zoomed in on it a little bit ago. I'd made this one a couple days ago for this tree. So this tree now has its own unique looking leaves. I'll eventually make a few more different leaf types, but I did do that, and I stuck the one that you seen me make. I put it on the bush. For anybody in the future watching this, the previous live stream was me making that leaf. Alright, now I can come back and change this one because I got that one over there. And I can just literally set it to be its own unique thing. Well, right now I'm making it to where I can make multiple games. I'm making a game engine within an engine, pretty much. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm making a bunch of systems. I've got a generic vehicle, I've got a third person character, a first person character, I've got an inventory, and other small stuff that I'm building. And I'm setting up these systems so I can duplicate this project. Say I get done with what I'm doing and I can make a bunch of different games off this. It's like a template. Think of a template. And I'll be able to delete the stuff I don't need and make whatever game I want just by duplicating the project. Like I could duplicate it and call it, Call of Duty Killer is the code name, and start making a first person shooter because I've got, the day and night system. I've got assets already to, use as placeholders for whatever I make for that actual game. Yeah, it's all stuff so I can use it in the future. I can build off of it and make games and stuff that I want to work on quicker. Because normally what they do is you start from scratch. And back in the day, like the Tony Hawk games and some of those, they would make the first game and then they would build over top of it to make the sequel. Well, I'm making a foundation. Instead of making the game first and building over top of it, I'm making a foundation that I can build over top of and make anything I want. Like, I'm not going to show it off tonight, but I have another scene that I have a prototype city. I could make my own GTA clone. And I'll already have characters and cars and everything, that I can test. And I'll just be able to make what I want to make. I need to actually click on it so I can zoom up on it better. There we go. Now I can actually see a little bit more of what's going on here. Yeah, I want it more like that. Probably do that. And then shrink it down. Yeah, that's more or less how I want it. So maybe if I put that in the middle, it's actually the opposite. Oops. So I need to... Yeah, do something more like that. Bring that all the way down. So it seems like it needs to be pushed in a little bit more. And then let's see what we can do with this one. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. That's more of what I was wanting to go for. Something like that. Oops, I didn't save the other one correctly. Apparently they didn't fix that. It's not saving it all within the thing. It's alright though. It's all just experimenting right now, seeing what I can do. I also have to remember I'm going to have to save all my noise maps separately, since it's not going to automatically save it as part of the material, which I wish it would. I mean, what's the point in having a material file if it's not going to save all the properties within it automatically? It just seems really weird to me. Yeah, I just straight up turns it purple. But yeah, that's kind of my idea for what I'm wanting to do with these mushrooms. I'm gonna have these mushrooms that are the ones I already created, the smaller ones. I'm gonna have some different shaped ones. And I'm just gonna basically do different themes for each one. Like some of them are gonna have these droplets and stuff on them, like I seen out in a picture of out in the wild somewhere. So at least I got an idea of what it's gonna look like. I'll just have to plan for it. So we are gonna hop back into Blender now. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cheat and hop back into my second mushroom. And then I can just literally come in here and do like I did last time. I can just go and inflate it and basically get what I want real quick that way. But this time, I'm going to do something a little different. Where's the tool at I want? It's actually down more. There we go. Then I can come in and turn down the strength a little bit. Smooth it out just a little bit. And definitely smooth it out up there. We're going to add a little bit more. We're going to make this a fat boy mushroom. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I think mushrooms are pretty cool. I've seen a lot of games really use mushrooms. I'm kind of glad because, I mean, they're some of them are pretty strange looking. There's a lot of just really cool plants and stuff that, I mean, I'm here in America, so like the stuff that we're around, like, especially in my part of the United States, like we're not really exposed to a whole lot. Like things are kind of boring here when it comes to the stuff we got. But there's a lot of other places. I mean, yeah, it's probably super poisonous and not a good thing to be around, but they got some pretty cool plants and animals and stuff. I mean, just not a whole lot going on where I'm at. I always call the area where I'm at Farmville because I mean that's exactly what it is. I mean, I literally live in Farmville, like Facebook Farmville. I've got nothing but corn pretty much all around me right now. Everywhere I look is corn. And that's like my family's not really, I guess, from this state, but I mean they're still pretty much farmers. They just more hunter, I guess, than farmer. They were more living off the land that way instead of just having like a big commercial farm. Try to flatten this out a little bit now. I got it as tall as I want it. And then I should be able to shrink that down and get too much. Didn't expect it to flatten it that quick. There we go. Now it's got more of an organic shape to it. Instead of being like perfectly symmetrical, now it's actually got a lot more shape to it. That's one thing about making a human character in a video game. If you're making like an anime character, normally it doesn't matter. But for a lot of other characters, you're not going to want them to be symmetrical. Things like eyes, ears, and like nothing's really perfectly symmetrical. And that's what I'm going for with the stuff I'm making. Even my character, even though it's anime, uh, it's not perfectly symmetrical on purpose. It's got things about it that are a little off on one side. That way, when you actually look at it, it doesn't look weird. If you ever mirror one side of your face and like try to put it on both sides, just use one half of your face as both sides of your face, you'll realize that you look really weird. And there was somebody who did it. They took their left half of their face and their right half and just mirrored them, and they had two different looking faces that were the same half, but they just used two right sides of their face and hooked them together, and two left sides. And you'll notice real quick when you do that when you mirror stuff in real life, it just doesn't look right. It's not realistic. And even though my character is not made to be realistic, it's got enough realism to it that I want it to not be a certain way. I don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. There we go. So now I can save this as mushroom 4. Yep. Alright. We're getting somewhere. Now the only thing I really got to do is I got to correct one thing, and that's I got to do the UV again, because I stretched the UV to crap and back when I deformed it to get the shape I wanted. So once again, I will redo that. Oops. Definitely didn't want to do that. Anyway, move this down here and shrink it just a tad bit more to where it actually fits. There we go. Now when I go to actually put a texture on it, it's not going to look all weird and deformed, because it would have otherwise. I actually, for my character, what I did is I had an idea for what I was going for. A lot of anime games, they do like either like super cartoony characters, or they go the Final Fantasy VII remake route and they go like super realistic with it. And I wanted to do something kind of in the middle. I wanted to do an anime character, but I wanted it to have realistic details without being super realistic. So it's got like fingernails, toenails that can be changed, and a lot of realistic features, but at the same time can keep its cartooniness, which is really something that I wanted. I just wanted it to keep that cartoony feel. Something I'm gonna do real quick. Yep, that fixed it. Just didn't. I'm seeing some weird stuff going on it. I don't know why, but it's fixed now. Matter of fact, I guess I'll do that for the underside too. Alright. We want Godot pop back up. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to hop over and grab my mushroom, and I'm going to put it over in Godot. So we're going to open up Godot real quick. Don't need that open anymore. What I do want is up here. Open this folder back up. And then just like I did for the other one, I can create another material. I can create another material especially just for this one. And come over here and I will just drop that in there. Oh yeah, I better tell it that it's an albedo, or it's not going to pop up in the scene again. Alright. Well, I was kind of looking at the time. I'm probably going to have to hop off soon and try to get some sleep. I've got a few days off because of the 4th of July, but I still kind of have to keep my hours straight. It's actually in the morning where I'm at, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and hop off because it's going to take me a minute to get everything situated before I go to bed. Because I just noticed it's getting late. But if you're going to be on Roblox tomorrow, I will probably be on. It'll if I'm on during the day, uh, like earlier than I normally am, I will probably just be like getting stuff ready for like a smaller video. But like tomorrow night when I would normally hop on, I'll probably hop on live and play it. I'm not even sure what game, but one of them. I don't know if it'll be Grow a Garden 2 or if it'll be 99 Nights in the Forest or what. I may try that one. I can't remember what it is, selling lemons or something like that. I may try that tomorrow. I may go live and give that game a try. But yeah, if I'm on live, it'll be the same time as normal. It'll be nighttime, my time. So I mean, I could play. We could probably live stream a couple different games tomorrow. We could probably try one out and then, yeah, sell lemons or blocks fruit, either one. I mean, maybe both. Do a stream and then take a break for a minute and then do another stream. that would probably work. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off for tonight. So if I'm on later tomorrow night, I'll be on live and we can get together and play some games. I'll probably try Sell a Lemon first and just see what that game's all about. You said it was like a clicker, so I'll try that, and then if we end up on it for a while, then it is what it is. But I'll probably hop off and take a break, and then play Blocks Fruit. 'Cause yeah, I did like my experience playing that. But yeah, I'll hop off for tonight. Thanks for joining and everything, and I'll see you guys at some point, probably tomorrow night.